Okay. Hello, everybody. Why is my camera so messy? Okay, that's good enough. Hello, everybody. I am Mik-O-Less, and let's edit. Okay, and this is what I look like for those who have not seen me before. Um, I am 22, almost 23. My birthday was March 12th of 2001. So that makes me 22, almost 23 now. My birthday is coming up, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. I just had another passing of my family. My grandmother, my mother's mom. And I'm going to start with one of the earliest deaths that I can remember. The biggest ones too. So the biggest one I've had was my dad, Robert. Robert Umney. My name is Michael Robert. Robert's my middle name, and I had the honor of having my dad's middle name and my dad's first name as my middle name, which I'm grateful for that. But anyway, there's a story with my dad that a couple actually, that I will never forget. One of them is a teaching thing, but I'm gonna start with the funny stuff. So there's a couple of stories that are funny. I'm only going to tell the funny ones to entertain you. Uh, and then I'll tell the one that teaches you something. So my dad, um, he was a big football person kind of guy. I'm adopted, so my mom and dad that I have now adopted me. My adopted family still has me, and have not thrown me on the streets yet, even though I'm a a-hole. I can be, but me and my mom and my brother get along pretty well. But anyway, the story, right? So my dad loved football. He's a big Michigan Wolverines fan. Me personally, I don't follow up on football, but I enjoyed the time that I had playing football with him. Back then, I did play football with my brothers, but anyway. So he taught me how to play football, and the first thing he did was knock me on my butt. Well, he didn't knock me on the butt. I knocked me on my butt. I think he did. But he did this. He held it like this and did this, held the football in this hand like this, did this, and he did that. Ran into me and he knocked me on my butt. He was a heavyweight. He was a big guy, but he was a good guy. But anyway, another story. So my brother, we were having spaghetti one night, and my brother Jake got his plate, and he spilled his spaghetti. My dad cracked up laughing. But when my dad got his plate, he spilled it, and he wasn't laughing as much. So karma can be what we call a bee, a son of a bee. But and then another story. So there's two more stories that I can think of that I've heard. So my brother Josh was walking up the stairs after my dad said needed him. And he went up the stairs, and my dad scared my brother Josh to where he fainted. I'm not joking, he literally fainted. But he literally fainted, and I heard that story and I cracked up laughing. So, and then another thing where my brother Jake scared my dad, my brother Jake was hiding behind a corner. My dad was walking to the corner, and my brother Jake jumped out from behind the corner and scared him. My dad punched him into the other room. Not joking. He literally punched my brother Jake into the other room, like 6 feet away, you know? But, and then and then the thing that teaches you something. I will never forget this. This is what changed me from being aggressive to, to, uh, to just being friendly and passive. I was an aggressive kid, yes. I broke a window a couple well, one was an accident at home. The one at home was an accident, but by the way, I'm drinking grape sun-kissed water mix. You can get that at you can get it at any store. But anyway, I'm getting distracted a lot. So anyway. So my dad told me when I was in my room, he sat down, didn't do anything to me. He sat down next to me and said, "Look, son," or "Look, Mike." I don't remember if he said son or Mike, but he said, "I'm going to be straight with you and by telling you this one thing that you better not forget." I was like, I'm 20, almost 23 now. I was about 7, 8 years old then. I'm surprised I remember it, but I remember as if it was yesterday, as if he was still alive yesterday, telling me that. He said, "You're not going to make it anywhere unless you change the way you act." Because, and here's how you should look at it. He said, "There's a good path and a bad path. The good path will lead you to friendship, familyship, and everybody will praise you, and you'll get a bunch of rewards, even though that doesn't matter if you get a reward or not." I found that out. I think that anyway. But anyway. And then he said, then there's a bad path, which can lead you to loneliness and lead you to despair. He didn't say despair, but he said something that was related to that. And he said, consequences will follow the bad path, and you will be alone your whole life. Now, if I didn't listen to that, I wouldn't have a boyfriend right now, you know? I wouldn't have a loving boyfriend right now. And yes, I know I'm not gay. I'm bisexual, actually. But I'm bisexual, but I have a preference. I am kind of leaning more towards gay, but I'm kind of bisexual. I'm pretty bisexual. I like both, but I have a preference, and my preference is males. But anyway, that's beside the point. And I will never forget what he said to me that day. The good path and bad path. He changed my life when I remembered that. After I became like, I don't know, 18, 19 years old, I remembered that and felt no need to be aggressive anymore. So he is the one that changed my life forever. He is the one that made me be passive and all that and everything. My dad was a great man. I wish you guys would have met him. I would have had him on my live streams if he were still alive. But now he's in heaven, and there's no more pain. He didn't even feel a lot of pain. He felt off when he had his heart attack at work at night. I went to school and came home, and my mom said that my dad passed away the previous night. So he died in the ambulance that was driving him to the hospital. So died before he got to the hospital. So that's why that's why I wanted to change the way I act because of him. He was a good guy. He was a great father, and my mom and I know my mom knows thinks he's a great husband. He was a great husband to my mom. He was a great father to me and my brothers. I'll never forget him. And then another one, I had, so the next one was my grandpa Wright. This story is, he had a bell that I always liked. I thought it was pretty cool back then, but then I realized it's just a bell. Nothing cool or bad about it. It's nothing interesting, nothing new. Bells have been around since God knows when. But I had a fascination in I had a fascination in shiny things like a raccoon. It's my friends always called me a raccoon for liking shiny things. So but but and then my grandpa Wright, he was a good guy too. He was my grandma who passed away Sunday of this past week. This past Sunday. She had tumorous cancer. Like cancer that was she had tumors, 6 different tumors, 5 or 6 tumors that pressed against her spine, fracturing it. So there was no cure, and she was 83 years old, so there was no point in trying to cure it or keep her alive because she was already old enough. She went in her sleep just like we wanted her to. But anyway, my grandpa Wright. I don't remember a lot because it was a long time ago. He was 96, I think. He lived to his 90s. And then there wasn't really a lot that I remember about him except for he was born during one of the wars, world wars, I think. And then that's all I remember about it. He fell and had his brain was bleeding. He couldn't hear me, but that was the first time I had coffee when he was at the nursing home in his bed. And oh my God, I hated it. I only drank 1 sip of coffee and I was like, ugh. It was black coffee, so what did I expect? I didn't know there was creamer back then. My mom didn't let me drink coffee until that one day. I lagged. What the heck? But but he was a good great grandpa, you know. And then another one, my grandpa Sonny died. After that, he had diabetes. He passed away near his bed. So we don't know how he passed away in between his bed and the wall, but I remember when my grandpa found out about my dad getting scared and my dad spilling his spaghetti after Jake did, and then all the stories. He cracked up laughing, so, you know. Virus and threat protection. No. X. Hit the X. Do it. I want to hit the X. Thank you. So put hearts in chat for my family. Put hearts in chat. If I can find the hearts. I've been having trouble finding it. Oh, hold up. I can't find hearts. What the heck? Where... Do they remove hearts from here? I hope not. Hang on. I cannot find hearts. There we go. Put hearts in chat. 3 hearts. If you guys see this when it's uploaded, please put hearts or rip in comments. For if you've had a loss, if you've had loss of family, put a heart. If you've just had a loss of family members, put a heart and rip. If you've lost a pet and family, put 2 hearts and rip. And if you've lost friends, if you've lost friends with pets and family, put 3 hearts and then rip. So, and I'm sorry if anybody else that watches this lost their family and pets and friends. I've lost like all. So they're in school. In school, I had a group of 7 friends. We were the lucky 8 because we all had the same stuff, almost everything in common. There was a femboy, and they went into the military. The way they died was they were flying over. They died like last year, in the middle close to the little in the middle, somewhere in the middle of last year. They were military. They were military transfer from working at a base, military base, to airborne, and they were flying over Russia, and they were shot down and they got pierced through the heart. They did an autopsy and their body was preserved decently, but they were pierced through the heart with an armor-piercing bullet that pierced right through the plane and into them. They died immediately, which I was grateful for that. And I was happy they didn't die from the plane crash itself, because you would be suffering if you lived from the flames and stuff. And then my other friends just died from their birthdays, mostly. They hit their heads, they got into fight, or they either hit their heads on something and died, or they just got into fights and stuff. But there's no more. I'm the last one of the lucky 8. So, and then the final death I can remember, because it happened recently. Well, I'm going to talk about my dog, both my dogs that I had. There was Samantha. She died before my other dog, which is weird because my dog Sammy, the Great Pyrenees, was younger than my dog Molly, who was not a lab, a mutt. So that was kind of weird, but apparently the bigger the dog, the less time they live. But Sammy should have lived longer, but she got osteosarcoma, which is bone cancer. Now, I will put a link on what it is eventually, but for now, I'm just going to leave it. So, but yeah, my dog Sam, she got osteosarcoma, which is bone cancer in her front right paw, I think. She laid in her the previous night, the night before, she was laying in her cage. And when we woke up in the morning, she was still in her cage. She didn't limp the day before at all, I don't think. But it was hard because she kept yelping and I was crying. And honestly, that's the last time I cried. Oh, wait, no. Shadow. My cat Shadow was the last time I cried because he was the last one to pass. So, but, my dog Sam saw me crying and wanted to get up and comfort me. But I had to try and stop crying, which I managed to stop crying. She couldn't get out of her cage because she was hurting so bad that she couldn't even stand. So we got her onto some kind of towel or bed or sheet, and we lifted her into the back of the car and brought her to the vet. And after that, we put her on the table or on the floor, I don't remember, but they shaved a part of her paw and put the needle into her veins and counted to 3. And they injected the substance that would make her sleep forever. And that was it. I cried more. And she was a good puppy. She was still technically a puppy. Don't just know that. She was still technically a puppy. And then after that, a couple months went by, maybe a year at most. Months went by, maybe a year at most. And my dog Molly had arthritis and her back legs kept giving out. At first, I thought it was funny because I didn't know what was going on, and when I realized it wasn't funny anymore, so we had to put her down. She was in my lap. Her top half of her body was in my lap as she was put down. I started petting her, and then they injected it into her, and she fell asleep. And once again I cried. They told us all these big dog names, by the way. But I think they left out the fact that she was they might have left out the beagle part of her, because we don't know if she was part beagle, but we're pretty sure she was. But anyway, and then there was my cat Shadow, my only cat that I actually had for its whole life. She was a feral cat, like an outside cat. I think that's right. I think feral means outside, but a wild cat. She was a wild cat. But as soon as my brother Josh fed him La Rosa's sausage off the pizza, some sausage off of La Rosa's pizza, Shadow kept coming back. And eventually we got him to come inside to eat. We placed cat food near an open door. And we he came in, started eating, and we had him ever since. And eventually he wouldn't eat food or drink water. And he laid behind the couch because I found out that cats don't want you to see that they're dying or whatever. And So, and so my cat got put down, and it once again that shadow was in my lap, but and passed away in my lap. And well, after they got put down, he was in my lap, and as he went, and then there was my grandma, which is the most recent death, which actually we had the funeral Friday, so not yesterday, but the day before. When I made it's Sunday, and it is January 28th, 2024 right now. It's the 28th of January of 2024 as I'm making this, as this live stream is happening. But my grandma, every time every time she'd get something wrong or forget something, and someone would tell her, and then she'd remember that that's true, she'd hit herself in the head with a piece of paper and say, "Put me in a home." And another story that I heard from my family member who was also a judge. My mom, a couple of my mom's friends, my Aunt Dee, my grandma Carol, which is the one that passed away on Sunday of the same week of the funeral, and the judge, which is a part of my family, always used to go to Gatlinburg once or twice a year. And this one time, they were at a restaurant. I don't remember what restaurant they said, but they were eating, and all of a sudden they see urine on on the floor, and they didn't know who did it. My auntie also passed, so I forgot about that. But this is about my grandma Carol and my Aunt Dee. But they didn't know who did it until the next year, when my Aunt Dee my Aunt Dee brought adult diapers. Yeah. Yeah, I will never forget that story. But yeah. So basically, the thing that helped me with the deaths, because I was diagnosed with depression and I was suicidal before, was just talking. So if you're feeling down or sad about a death or anything, talk about it. If you need to talk, even if you even need to talk while you're watching something live, you can talk to me. I have experience with a lot of death, um, and I will listen. And if you need me to give some input or advice, I will give it to you. I may be only 23 years old, but I have enough experience with death and depression because I was diagnosed with it. I was suicidal at one point. I'm not anymore. So if you are suicidal or depressed or diagnosed with depression, you can talk to me on one of my live streams, or leave in the comments, make a live stream, and so you can join in and talk to me. I am open. I'm an open book. I have nothing else to talk about. I mostly have nothing else to talk about in my streams. So if you need to talk, you can talk to me on live stream. Ask me to make a live stream. I won't be checking my comments that often, like every day or maybe every month. Every other month I'll check it, or when I remember to. But I will create a live stream right after you say you need to talk to me. I will not hesitate. Okay? So if you need to talk, I'm here. Consider me a friend on the screen. So I consider anyone that I talk to about anything a friend. I'm that kind of person. So yeah. So I'm an open book. And I don't give input or advice unless you ask for it. Well, sometimes I do without you asking if it's necessary and it has to be completely necessary. So, but I will create a live stream immediately if you need it. If you need to talk. If you're available, join the live stream. I will be trying to do live stream as often as possible in case you guys need to talk about stuff, about deaths, depression, suicidal thinking, homicidal thinking, because I was there too. If you hear voices, I did at one point. I still do, honestly, if I'm being honest. Can't say I'm not. But my voices come and go. It's only there when I'm depressed, like right now. They are there. But yeah, I'll be more than happy to give advice and talk to you about it. But anyway, that's all the time I have for now. Well, not really, but I have nothing else to talk about. So this is in loving memory of my family that's passed, my friends that have passed, and your family and friends that have passed. So keep strong, stay faithful. You'll get through it. Talk to anyone you can, whether it's a doctor, psychiatrist, a therapist. Therapy isn't always the worst thing for people. It's actually the best. I used to think therapy was bad, like means that I'm not normal. That's not the case. I know I said I'd stop, but I'm just explaining this. Therapy doesn't mean you're not normal and that you may not even need therapy, but it's nice to have in case you need someone to talk to that's experienced with this stuff. I found that out myself. I've been in therapy almost my whole life, and it makes me feel good. So, it makes me feel really good to talk. So, but like I said, I am going to put my Discord in the comments in the description of today. When I edit this stream, I will put my Discord in the description. So if you want to friend me, I will be friending anyone, okay? Anyone that friends me on Discord. No matter who it is. People, if you need to talk, viewers, if you need to talk to someone and you have Discord, friend me and type in my name of my Discord name in your Discord search that's in the description below, and I will talk to you. I will listen to you. I will not give any input or anything unless you ask for it. No advice, no input, no opinions unless you ask for it or if you need it. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Stay strong, because everything everything happens for a reason. Just need to keep your faith. Keep hope that everything will get better, and it will eventually. Do not let suicidal thinking get control of you. Do not let sadness take control of you. Don't do anything irrational, because you have family. And if you don't, you have friends. And if you don't even have that, you have people that love you in general. Like me. I may not know you, but I care for you. I care for everybody. Period. I don't want to see if you're having a hard time. I've been there. I've been through death, depression. I still have depression, so I can't say I'm done with it. I've dealt with death. I deal with depression. I've dealt with suicidal and homicidal thinking. I've dealt with all of that, and I got through it. I'm still trying to get through most of that stuff. But suicide is not the answer. The answer is talking to people. Thinking, how would this affect people? If you still have family, Talk to them. Talk to them. They will listen. They will, even a therapist. If you get a therapist, you're already making the first step. The first step to greatness. If you have confessions, go to a church. If your church, confess to Father wherever you can confess, wherever confessions are. Go on that day and time, on the days or times that confession is done and where it's done. Talk to the Father or whoever you have there and confess. Repent. Do whatever's in your religion. I'm not saying you have to be a Christian or anything that I am, but do what you can to stay alive, stay focused on life, and know that life has a purpose. And you have a purpose that you can't just off yourself. Kill yourself. Don't. You can't kill yourself because whoever you worship has a plan for you. You may not see it now, but you will in the future. So, but anyway, that's all the time I officially have for now. So I love you all. Stay strong. Stay focused on life. And I will see you next time. Farewell. And have Mik-O-Less problems. Stay faithful and keep hope. Stay strong. Hello? All right. Goodbye.